welcome back to another episode of To the Moon. And we have another very special episode today of a success story in our Astroflipping community. And I'm excited for all of you guys to hear this. Why? Because this could be you. If you're watching this right now and you're sitting on the sidelines, you're not taking any action, you're stuck in analysis paralysis, you're questioning whether or not this business model is even real. Let me tell you that the people that you see here are very real, and these stories are true. And I want to introduce you guys to a very special Astroflipping community member, Delena Edwards. Welcome to the moon and congratulations. How are you doing today?
Hello, Jamil. Hello, I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me. This is like the man himself, the big dog, right? And this so
well,
super honored to be here.
It's funny, the perspective is interesting to me because I appreciate the compliment, but the facts is that the real winner and the real hero in these stories are you, because you took action. You're the one who decided that you weren't going to settle for mediocre. You wanted something different. And look, a coach is only that, right? I can give you advice. I can show you the direction. I can give you the play. I can show you the playbook. But whether or not you come to practice, whether or not you stay late, whether or not you put in the reps, whether or not you do the things that are necessary to be a champion are up to you. And you made the choice. You made the decision to do the work, to get to the spot that got you onto this podcast today, that got you the win, that got you to a place where, you feel that you're ready to share your story. And for me, that's what's so special about this. This is, for me, it's my life's work, but like seeing you guys thrive and flower is really the key. So let's take it all back. Let's rewind people so that they can get an understanding of where you come from, what even brought you to Astroflipping in the first place. Tell us a little bit about your life history, your family history, and your business history, and we'll go from there.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm originally from Austin, but I moved to the DFW area for college, right? And so whenever I moved, I was like dead set on, finishing college, getting my degree. My degree was in education. So I was like, I'm going to become a teacher. Then I'm going to go to grad school.
Very noble.
Right. And then I'm going to be a superintendent. I'm like, I graduated and I'll fast forward after my
No, don't fast forward. So I want to understand this because look, it's one of the most selfless professions, being an educator, right? Like in the world like that, it's difficult because going in that you're not going to be paid well.
Yeah.
Right. It's common knowledge that teachers are underpaid, they are overworked. I mean, there's no way that you didn't see that report. You didn't read those reports. You didn't hear those rumors. So like, what's the decision-making process that makes somebody decide to take education as their profession?
Yeah. So, I mean, originally, like I've always worked like in daycares and with little kids. And growing up, my mom, she was a single mom and she worked all of the time. So I spent like a majority of my childhood basically helping to raise my brother. So, like teaching him his manners, teaching him his ABCs, teaching him how to write his name. Like it's always being an educator and a teacher is something that has been instilled in me since I was like a little girl, right? So growing up and going throughout like high school and college, I worked in daycares. I worked at like the Boys and Girls Club. I got to work with a whole bunch of like different age group of kids. And so initially in my mind, I'm like, okay, I could be a teacher while still pursuing other things. So when I got to college, I said, my freshman year, I said, okay, I'm going to do a degree in social science and then add my secondary teaching certificate on top of it. And then once I graduate, I'm going to go into like commercial real estate. And my original plan was to own salons, not be like the hairstylist.
The operator, yeah.
Yeah, but I want to own the salons. And so that was my original plan.
Love that.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty
Why
cool.
salons? You like hair, or is that like a thing for you? Is that like you just wanted to be involved in the industry, or why salons? Or
Yeah,
was it just commercial real estate and like retail space?
I think it was just like the retail space,
Okay.
owning owning those salons and the design behind it, because salons, that's a place where you go and like you leave feeling pretty, so the idea of like designing a nail shop and like all of the different design aspects that can go into like a hair salon or a nail shop or like a masseuse parlor, whatever it is, it was like that was kind of what was so intriguing to me. But as time went on, it was probably my junior year of college. I met a friend and he flipped mobile homes.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, you are literally my age and you're making, like 6 to 14,000 just flipping these mobile homes, right? He was making a small profit, but to a young college student, I'm like, I've never seen more than, my fast food deposit in my life. And so that I kind of got interested in that. And so that was like my first introduction to like a not necessarily a wholesale model, but it was like the fix and flip type of real estate venture, right? Um, so I mean, I pursued it for a little bit, but I didn't really like seek out the knowledge like I could have. I asked him and I wrote it down on my board, but I didn't actually take any steps to pursue it. I bought a whole bunch of books, and still to this day, I've never read any of those books.
It's
Um,
funny. I've done that before too. Like anyways, I also have collected books about industries that I'm like, for instance, cryptocurrency.
mm,
I know nothing about cryptocurrency, but I have like 10 books about cryptocurrency.
all
So
the books.
I'm like, look, I've got these books. But as I have no time, I don't have any time because I'm so
Yeah,
focused in real estate. I'm so focused on our community and what we do. I don't have any time to learn about crypto, but I have the books.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, um, I didn't really take it serious. And then I got distracted with my major, right? Because getting licensed to be a teacher and getting your certificate, like that's a whole thing in itself. So I did my student teaching my senior year, and like it was pretty chill. And this was coming straight off of COVID. So for one, I was in an AP class when the students like they want to be there, right? And then for two, I only had like 3 in-person classes, and the rest of the classes were Zoom. And this is at a high school, by the way. So I was like,
So you were teaching AP what?
US history and world geography.
So for those of you that don't know what AP is, because you're, slow, AP is advanced placement. So that means that you were a smarty pants, right? So if you're teaching the smarty pants, then you're smarter than the smarty pants.
Right. I mean, I try to be.
Is there an IQ test that they have to give to AP teachers that lets you know that you're smart enough to teach these geniuses, or what? How does that work?
No, you just have to go to like certain trainings. But they really won't give you that position unless you have the experience to back it up. But I mean, coming off of COVID, like, there's a huge teacher shortage. Like you said, teachers are underpaid. So, I mean, they kind of like bend the rules, but I was just student teaching at the time. So the teacher that they placed me with, she was the AP. So I kind of got this false idea of what being a teacher was like, because it was a breeze, right? So I got hired on at that same school, and I had my first year in education. It was my last.
So were the students just terrible, or what was it?
It was really a combination of things. So I was a teacher. I taught world geography and world history. So I had 2 different preps that I had to prepare for. And then I was a track coach and I was a volleyball coach.
Neat.
So yeah,
Do they pay you for coaching as well? Like, do you get compensated to be a sports coach?
So you get a stipend on your check, like added to your yearly salary. My stipend for both sports, I made in 1 month on my first deal. And I worked 24/7 as a teacher. Like that was like there's so many different things that go into teaching that people don't really understand. Like, it's more than just like the students that give you issues. You're overworked, you're tired, you're expected to do so much while being micromanaged. You're you pour everything you have, and then by the time you get home, you don't even have enough energy for yourself or for your family or anything. And it's like really draining. And I'm not knocking the profession just because it didn't work for me. Like, if you're a teacher, you have to have a heart to be a teacher. Like, you
I
truly
100% agree. And
you
I
should.
feel like that about any of those, like even doctors, like you need to have that. I'm so glad that I didn't get into medical school because I would have sucked as a physician.
Just because of what? Because of just the time commitment, or
No, because I care about people and I want to help people, right? But like that's for me, look, I wanted to be a plastic surgeon. Why? Because I wanted to be a rich doctor, not a doctor. You know what I mean? And being a plastic surgeon, even having the goal to be a plastic surgeon doesn't mean you're going to be a plastic surgeon. In fact, it is one of the most difficult and rare specialties to get. So you could very well go into medical school wanting to become a plastic surgeon and come out a proctologist. That could happen. So, anyways, I digress. So
What's
you're overworked.
about you?
You didn't know that about me?
Yeah, I didn't know that you wanted to be a plastic surgeon. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was I'm so glad the way life turned out, because right now, a cousin of mine, he actually did get into medical school and he is a physician now, and he didn't get to be a plastic surgeon. He actually wanted to be an ophthalmologist, but now he's an emergency room doctor.
Oh.
And he sent me a text message the other day and he's like, bro, my life sucks. I spend all of my time pulling things out of people's butts. And I'm watching you on television with your sister, living life, flipping houses, enjoying life and changing people's worlds. And I'm so proud of you. And just so you know, you won. So it was an interesting conversation because him and I competed so much growing up because we were both the same age and both trying for the same things. And he actually ended up getting the goal that we both thought we wanted. And then, I didn't, but then, full circle, it's kind of interesting how life shakes itself out. But going back to your situation, right? So you're you're a teacher, you're overworked, you're coaching two teams, you are, dealing with high school students, which is, high school students, I have one in my house and she's incredible, but she's also challenging, right? Because they're coming into their own self. They've got their own minds. They've got their own thoughts and they challenge everything because that's their job. Their job is to question the world and question the norms. And if they're not asking these questions and if they're not challenging you, then you probably didn't do a good enough job as a parent to keep an open-minded human being in your house, right? And so I imagine you've got all these kids that are just challenging and pushing everything that you're trying to accomplish and not realizing that you're not even being properly compensated for the amount of time and love that you're bringing to the job.
Yeah. And Jamil, it even I got stolen from not once, but twice. Like, I would pass out candy and stuff to the kids. I got stolen from, they took my entire bag of candy. They went into my fridge, into my desk. So it was just stuff like that. There was a false rumor that was going around the school and kids were saying I was in this video and I wasn't. And it was just a whole thing. Just
mean.
It was
Mean Girls. You had to deal with Mean Girls on top of everything else.
And I'm not even a student there, but it came with a lot of lessons for sure. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, and this isn't to knock on anybody that enjoys their 9-to-5 W-2. If it's prison, at the end of the day, in my opinion, I feel like you're a prisoner because you don't have control over your time. No matter what it is that you do, it's still not going to be good enough. You're dependent on other people to take care of you and to pay your bills and to take care of your family.
And somebody can make a decision one day and end it.
And they don't care, they'll be hiring the next day. So it's just it was cool while it lasted, but it wasn't for me and it didn't match the goals and the dreams that I see for my own lifestyle, right? And then the things that I know that God's going to do in my life. It was just there was a top, right? Like I couldn't make more than my $3,900 a month, right? No matter how many hours I put in, no matter how late I stayed at school, I could not make more than $3,900 a month. That was it.
And how can you survive? Like, even then, I feel like in today's world, look, I had jobs, and I had jobs where I made a lot less than $3,900 a month, right? I had jobs where I made $2,000 a month, and it's hard. Like life is difficult, but how do you survive? Like how can you make it work if if you can't have a living wage? And unfortunately, for the amount of time and effort that you're putting into that career, you're not being adequately compensated for it, right? You can't even have a side hustle when you're working that hard and you're coaching and you're doing all those things. Like you can't make extra money. You can't create other opportunities. So how the heck did you get into astroflipping, and how did you escape? Because like now I've just got this idea in my head of you locked in this schoolhouse prison, and like, how do we get you out, Delena? How did we get you out? What happened?
Yeah. So,
Who popped your lock?
Man. Okay. So basically what happened is I was like, all right, enough is enough. Like I'm crying every day at work. Like I'm calling my fiance at lunch, literally bawling. And my fiance, he has a very like entrepreneurial spirit. And so he was like, plan your exit strategy. So my first solution was, okay, I'm gonna sign up for real estate school. So I did. And I would put my hair over my ear and have my headphone in at work. And I would plan way in advance, like a month in advance, and I would just sit there and work on real estate school. But then I was like, okay, this isn't where my interest is at, right? Like I want to get into like design. I want to fix and flip homes. I want to like build up my capital and be able to enter into real estate investment. I don't necessarily want to be the one selling the real estate.
No, as a realtor, you're not in real estate. You are a service provider for people in real estate. That is a harsh reality. And I'm sorry if you're a real estate agent and you're listening to this and I offended you. I didn't mean to, but the facts are what they are. Yeah. As a real estate agent, you are not in real estate. You are a service provider for people in real estate. And that becomes very evident to people that are going through that process. Not only that, but I went through the classes. I took all of the training, everything necessary to be a licensed agent. I just didn't get my license because at the time it wasn't needed for me, because I'm always going to be a principal. I was always going to be an investor. But what I learned was what you don't learn. You don't learn in real estate school how to comp. You don't learn in real estate school how to understand the market. You don't learn in real estate school how to manage investments. You don't learn in real estate school how to be what they make you. As a realtor, they make you a fiduciary, which means that you have a legal responsibility to act in the interest of somebody else. Mm-hmm. And if you're not even given the knowledge, the adequate knowledge to act in someone's best interest, that's a setup.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree for sure. Like, even with being an agent, you're still capped, right? Like you're still at the cap.
I mean, I know some rich agents. So, I mean, for instance, my friend Jason Mitchell, he sells billions of dollars in real estate every year. So, the guy probably takes home $1 million a month, and so one of the richest real estate agents that I know of. So I do know that you can become an entrepreneur real estate agent and grow a huge brokerage and create an amazing life as a real estate agent. So there's still plenty of opportunity there, because you can marry entrepreneurship and being a real estate agent together. But again, you're still not a real estate investor.
Yeah. I've actually connected with, since I've been doing agent outreach, I've connected with a couple of agents that are, one in particular in Dallas, and he does both. And he makes a ton of money. We can get into that later though. But yeah, so basically I did that, and I tried, starting a house cleaning business, and nice. I cleaned 2 houses, and I was exhausted at the end of it. And I only got paid I think it was $160 for a 3,000 square foot home.
My wife, actually, funny enough, a lot of people don't know this, but my wife was cleaning houses when her and I met. And so I know how difficult that job is. You know, I used to watch how she would work her butt off and make $80, you know, and it's difficult. It's a very difficult, it's a taxing, physically taxing job. So I understand that. And just like you, she was, you know, had a business, but then you become the business.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's you're the one doing the work, and unless you're hiring out the jobs, and you know, it's still, you're still a prisoner. Yeah,
Yeah.
and people can fire you like that, right? So there again, you're still setting yourself in the same situation. So what next?
Yeah, exactly. So long story short, my fiance, he went to I forgot the name of the conference, but it was in Arizona, and he met Matt Justice there. And him and Matt Justice, they became friends. And whenever my fiance got home, he was like, Delena, I met this wholesaler. He was like, he was telling me that he doesn't do anything. He said people bring him all his deals every month. He was like, I need to connect you with this guy. I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, shoot his information my way. Because at this time, after my real estate, or after my cleaning business, after I realized like, okay, this isn't like the right avenue for me as well. Like I can't take this path either. I was like, all right, I'm gonna start wholesaling. So I started watching all the videos on YouTube, researching on the internet, stuff like that. And you know, I saw the bandit signs, the driving for dollars, you know, your classic real estate, door knocking, stuff like that. Your classic,
Yeah, the old school stuff, the dinosaur stuff.
yeah, right. And it wasn't working. Like it was taking too long. And initially I had like analysis paralysis, so I wasn't taking any action. But then when I started taking action, I was like calling so many people, constantly hitting like, and then the ones that did answer, I would get cussed out. And
It's terrible.
I'm a softie, I'm a sweetheart. That kind of gets to me a little bit, you know? So I was
Yes.
like, I was telling my fiance, like, there has to be a better way than this. Like, there has to. And I don't know how, but I didn't know about you at the time. And so when he connected me with Matt Justice, and I hopped on the phone with Matt, and I was like, Matt, tell me what's the sauce? Like, how do you do this? And he was like, do you know who Jamil Damji is? And I was like, no, I don't. He was like, if you don't know who he is, you need to, and you need to sign up for his mentorship. And so I was like, okay. He was like, you think it's worth it? And he was like, yeah. And so long story short, I let like 2 weeks go by, and I was like, I let 2 weeks go by, and I didn't take any action. I didn't look you up. I didn't do any of that. And at this time I'm pregnant, right? So I'm like, I can't go, like, I don't want to go back to my job after my maternity leave is up. I have a baby coming. Like, I need to figure out how am I going to push myself forward and break through this threshold that where I'm at, right? So finally, I looked you up. I went to Astroflipping, and I scheduled a consultation. Hopped on the phone with Alex. He told me all about it.
Alex is great.
He's great. He's awesome.
Yep.
He still helps me to this day. So I hopped on the phone with him, and he told me about it, and he was like, are you ready? Do you need to think about it? I was like, no, like, I'm going to do this. And so praise God, like, God is so good. And, you know, he aligns all my steps. And like, I have a very, very supportive fiance. And I came home, I told him, I was like, I think I want to invest in this. And he was like, I've seen you invest in so many things, but I've never seen you invest in yourself. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And so I did it. And
that's a bar right there. I've seen you invest in so many things, but I've never seen you invest in yourself. Oh, that must have hit.
Yeah. I mean, it really truly did. And so, you know, he just encouraged me. So Jamil, I put everything into this course, right? Like, I took my entire savings, and I had a baby on the way. So that was how much, like, I had watched your videos, and that was how much I was like, this is going to work. Like, this is going to work. It has to work. Right. And so I took my entire savings, I put it into Astro. And once I joined, I locked in. Like, I literally locked myself.
Oh, I remember you on the calls, and the questions you would ask, I was like, yes, this girl's going to get it. She's going to go. Because you had that, I could see the fire in you. The hunger was there. And you didn't come with the, like, there's a difference in questions, right? Somebody will come to a call and they'll say, how do I get my first deal? And I'll say, okay, you've done nothing. You haven't opened anything. You just showed up here, and because somebody emailed you a link and said there's a call today, and you haven't watched anything, you haven't learned anything, you haven't met anybody, you haven't talked to anybody, you haven't done crap. So there's that question. Then there were your questions where you had specifics, like like really granular questions about processes and like how to have these conversations and comping questions and things that I could tell, oh wow, she's working. She's working. So what was the timeline? How long did it take for you to get a return? And what was that? How did your first deal go?
So, from the time I joined Astro on August 4th, and I closed my first deal. We closed on, it was September 29th, I believe.
Beautiful.
So I joined August 4th. When I joined, I locked myself literally in a box. And this is with a newborn baby at this point, because my son was born in July.
What's his name, by the way?
Legend.
Oh,
his name
love it.
Carter. So yeah,
Come on.
He's like the cutest thing in the whole world.
You named him Legend. I mean, he has no choice.
Right? Like
he has no choice.
Yeah, he's
so good.
He's so amazing. That's a whole nother call. I could go on and on and on about him.
I'm not gonna try to make you cry, but I'm just like this is already like this is great. So you got Legend. You're locked in a box. You're learning. There's learning Legend, and then
yeah. So it's like crying baby that I'm like learning how to breastfeed while also like watching the videos and like working and stuff. Like serious adjusting to mommy life while trying to set the foundation for my future, right? So locked in, I got through the first 5 weeks of the course. I made it all the way through the dispo course. I think that's like week 5 or something in a week and a half.
Wow.
So like literally day in, day out, working. And then like through this whole time, like the enemy was challenging me, but God was right there reminding me and letting me know that the decision that I made to do this, like, yes, the enemy is trying to interfere, but that's because I'm on the path that God has set out for me. So for example, this is all within the first few weeks of me getting my first deal. I found a wholesaler. I was going to micro flip. Heidi already had a buyer for this deal. I already had the exclusive option on it. I just sent him the contract. Heidi had a buyer. The buyer was ready to send EMD that night. Like literally, it was crazy, right? And then he ghosted. Ghosted, right? So that was the first thing. But when this happened, Jamil, I was in Walmart. Right? I come out of Walmart and I parked in the wrong spot at Walmart and I got a parking ticket for $600. And this is all like, I'm thinking I'm gonna get a deal, right? I'm like super excited. I'm literally in Walmart like dancing, like, man, God is so good. I'm about to get my first deal. I walk outside, police officer gave me a ticket, right? And so I was like, okay, that was the first thing. The second thing was my tooth broke. And I just told you I put everything I had into the course, right? So I didn't have anything extra to go get my tooth fixed. And so I'm like, okay, like the enemy is trying it, but I'm going to keep pressing on. I'm going to keep pressing forward and I'm going to keep learning and doing what I need to do, right? And so basically after that, like I hopped on the calls, I was learning, and then I met this agent. Her name is Ruby, right? And Ruby is phenomenal. She had a deal she works with other wholesalers. She's a very like investor-minded agent, right? She works with other wholesalers. These wholesalers bought this deal in Austin. It was a 2-bed, 1-bath, like 800 something square feet in downtown Austin. They bought it when the market was really, really hot in May. And then like shortly after they bought it, the market turned and they couldn't sell it for what they thought they were going to sell it for. So it had been sitting on market at, I think it was like 500K, right? So sitting on market, I connected with Ruby. She was helping me. We're working together. She was sending me leads and stuff. And then I came across her listing and I asked her, I was like, hey, what's the situation with this deal? Like, this looks like a great opportunity to wholesale. And she told me about it. Of course, she was like trying not to put her wholesalers in a bad spot.
Yeah. She wanted to give them the most, and so I get it. Yep.
Yeah. So, and she did a phenomenal job, like helping us both. So long story short, I put my offer in with them. I put my offer in at, let me make sure I tell you the right numbers. So it was listed at $499, and I put my offer in for $350. Nice. And this was like maybe like 3 weeks before it got accepted. Okay. So I put it in at $350. I kept following up with her. I'm like, hey, have you guys sold? Have you guys sold? Have you guys sold? Because she was saying, you know, they have other offers. They have people coming to see the property, so on and so forth. So I just kept following up with her. And finally, it hadn't sold. They dropped the price to $465. And I followed up with her one more time. I'm like, Ruby, I can sell this for you. Like, $350. And she kept telling me how motivated her wholesalers were, and they were, you know, they're getting into an even tighter crunch as time goes by. I was like, talk to them. So she did, and I got the property at $350. I partnered up with Keegley. We couldn't find a buyer initially, but then Keegley and Austin, oh, no, I'm telling you wrong. This is how it went. I partnered up with Alula, who is also an Astro student. Mm-hmm. And then he ended up partnering with Keegley. So he became the micro flipper.
Right.
And he passed the deal to Keegley. Keegley found a buyer at $354. And so I went in and I retraded with her wholesalers, and we got the property down to $330. And I made $8,000 on my first deal. So yeah, it was amazing. It was truly amazing. And I got to see a little bit of it all. Like, I got to see the dual agency with, you know, the agent. And then I got to see like the JV process and JVing my deal.
And you made a new connection with Keegley, because now look, you had access to Keegley anyways. You just didn't know it, right? Yeah. And so this is the beauty of the community, right? So yes, that Astro Flipper got to make some money just passing the deal over to Keegley, which you could have done, but who cares, right? Everybody ate. But now you know exactly what to do next time, and so that's an opportunity.
Let me tell you something. The same Keegley franchise that we closed my first deal with, we're set to close our second deal on November 8th.
And what are you going to make on that one?
That one I'll make $6,000.
Girl.
So, and then that one, I wanted to tell you about that. So the first deal was amazing, right? Because I got it, like, it was listed, it started at $500K, and I got it down to
$330.
Yeah, to $330. So the same thing happened, right? This has happened twice where I've gotten a deal down over $100,000 from list price, right? So this second deal that we're working on right now, so it was listed. It was a piece of crap property. Like, I could tell it was just.
Did you find it on Privy, or where did you find it?
No, I just went on Zillow, and I was just looking at listings.
Awesome.
And it was a piece of crap, and it was listed for $500K. Yes, it's in Austin, but it was a piece of crap. I was like, there's no way. So I called the agent to kind of see the story, and it was an estate sale. And she was basically telling me that the heirs of the property, they were very stubborn, and they were thinking that, you know, we're still in this hot sellers market, and we're not, right? And so she said she had been trying to talk to them to get the price down, and like, they're not budging. And so I put my offer in with her, and I told her, I'm like, you know, just talk to them, let them know we can get it closed, so on and so forth, right? And I put this offer in probably like mid-August. So I have been following up with her. I built a very good relationship with her to now where when I call her, she knows me by name, right? And so like, I just kept following up. And then maybe it was like the middle of October. I was scared I wasn't going to get any deals. And at this point, like, I quit my job, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. I didn't go back to my job.
Good.
Like, that first deal that I have, I put some of it back into my business. I paid Ruby a little extra for helping me with the deal. And then I paid my bills with it, right? I took care of my house. And so that can only go so far. It can only last so long. And so I was like, I need to get something else. Like something has to close in October. It's not optional. So it was like mid-October. I wasn't thinking we were going to get anything. I followed up with Linda, and the next day I got an email, and she was like, my sellers want to know if, because I offered them 230 on this deal. It was listed at 500K. They dropped the price to 400K, and I sent them an offer for 230. Okay. She emailed me. She was like, my sellers want to know if you will accept, or if they can get 250 under the same terms.
Wow.
I said 240. I was like, I can do 240. And they came back and said 245. So I locked it up at 245. I tried to sell it on my own for a few days, but then I called Keegley. I partnered up with Philip, and we needed to find a buyer yesterday before 5. We found a buyer yesterday morning, and they submitted EMD and signed a contract and everything. And so it was just, and we had to retrade. So I originally locked it up for 245, and then we retraded and we got it down to 238. And so now we're set to close on that one on November 8th, and I'm gonna make $6K on that one.
Amazing. So, that's $14,000 in a couple of months of work. And now you've got a process, right? You've got proof of concept, you got a process, you know exactly what to do. And this is the beauty of this business, right? Your inputs and your outputs will provide you the result. If you are watching this right now and you're like, man, this sounds too good to be true, this sounds too easy, it's neither of the things. What it is it's hard work. Guys, let me tell you this, okay? She is putting in the time, she's putting in the effort, she is a part of the community. How important has this community been to your success, by the way?
Man, the community has been like, I mean, if it wouldn't have been for Astro members, I would have never closed any of these deals, first of all. And second of all, like, I have learned from so many people in this community, just people that have just welcomed me with open arms, like Fred. Like, I mean, I can go on and on and on and just name a whole list of Astro members that have just really just like held me, right, and kind of held my hand in a way and walked me through a lot of different things. And then on top of that, I've met friends through the community, right? And you are who you surround yourself with. So like the members in the Astro community, a majority of them, like, they have their minds set on higher things, and those are the type of people that you want to be surrounded by. So it's just like, I mean, the community in itself, like, even if you're not even thinking about like doing deals or like the business, it's just the quality of people and the love that's within the community is like, it's literally priceless. And Matt Justice had told me that whenever I called him after I got off the phone with Alex, and I was like, before I do this, Matt, do you think it's worth it? And he was like, Delena, the community itself is worth so much more than that. Those were his exact words. And I will take those to the grave with me, because it's so true. Like, I tell everybody I know about Astro, just because like it truly is life-changing. Like, it sets you up to change your life. So yeah, I'm talking a lot because I'm very passionate about the community, and I'm very passionate about thinking bigger for yourself. And the community allows you to do both of those things, right? It allows you to think bigger, to make connections, to close deals, to make money, to like be confident in yourself, to create a life for your family. Like, it's just like my arms can't even stretch that far. So yeah, it truly is great.
I just had this like wave of emotion go through my body, and I had to like fight back from crying, because just the ability to be a piece of that is it's why I'm here. So from every one of us that have watched you grow, and to everybody who's been watching, how can we do business with you? I'm sure everybody wants to know, how can we get a hold of you? Where can we find you? How can I do deals with Delena Edwards?
So I will give you guys my phone number, but I'm really on Facebook. That's where I'm the most active. So you can just look me up on Facebook. It's Delena Raquel Edwards. I can
we'll put it in the description, guys. Her Facebook link will be in the description. And if you're comfortable sharing your phone number, people, be respectful.
Okay, yeah, I'm okay with sharing my phone number. And then I can put my Instagram out there because I do plan on starting a real estate content soon, and very, very soon. I'm just trying to save capital so that way I can start getting into like doing the fix and flips and being the end buyer,
Love
right?
it.
So yeah, so let's do deals, let's do business. I'm super friendly, super nice, and I'm always willing to help. I'm a teacher at heart, so anything that I can help anyone else with, to advance the Astro community, to advance God's kingdom, and to advance, helping people in their life, I'm willing to do. So.
Amen. Amen. All right. Share that info.
Awesome.
Just say it out loud.
Oh, sorry. Can we edit this part out?
Yeah. You don't want it to be out there?
Not me messing up right there.
No, that's okay. It's fine. Yeah, we'll edit it.
Okay, all right. Delena Edwards, and then my phone number is 512-966-2453. And my Instagram is Delana, Delana, Raquel, RACQUEL _. And yeah, that's how you can find me. I'm super responsive and nice. I don't bite.
She doesn't bite, guys, and she is making money. If you guys want to learn, if you want to be a part of the community, you can also find a link to Delena's affiliate link for Astroflipping. We'll buy her sushi if you guys use the link. If she inspired you, if she made you feel like this program is something and community is something that is interesting and important for you to become a part of, there's a link in the description here with Delena's affiliate link as well. You can click on that, book a call, and we'd love to talk to you. But Delena, welcome to the moon. You did great, and we are so proud of you.
Thank you for having me, Jamil. You're such an inspiration.
God bless you, sister.
We're going further, right?
Let's go. Let's go.
Here we go.
For the rest of you all, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching another one of my YouTube videos. Now it's your turn to go out and take some action. But before you do, like and subscribe to my channel because the law of reciprocity means you owe me.